I'm Gabby.
And I'm Shanna.
And we're 27 Travels.
And this is going to be the story with all the juicy details of how we met.
And what's crazy about that is we met almost 10 years ago.
And I also feel like people always ask us how we met. Like, it's like the #1 question we get asked all the time. And I feel like even though we feel like we've told it so many times, I think we always are like meeting new people, meeting new friends, like getting new followers and stuff, new subscribers. So everyone always just wants to know the story of how we met. So we're going to deliver the story of how we met.
We'll deliver the goods.
With all the juicy details.
With
I feel like
all of the juicy details.
I feel like in the past, oh yeah, I'm like getting comfy. I'm like getting sat.
We're sat.
I think in the past we might have like, you know, tried to like just get to the point, but we're gonna tell you everything.
But we're just gonna chat. We're just gonna have like an open chat about how we met today for you. And if you're a new follower and you haven't heard the story before, then this will be very interesting for you. And if you just are more curious about how we met and want to hear some extra details, then this is also the video for you. It's kind of crazy to think that Shanna and I met almost like 10 years ago. Like this June, it will be 10 years ago since the day that we actually met. And I just want to say that the day that we actually met is not the day that we became girlfriends. So it just is the day that we met. Like, this is a story of how we met, and we can go into how we wound up becoming girlfriends more in this video as well. I accidentally put my hand down and it was like cattail. Rascal existed before this story. He's 15.
All right, so I feel like I need to like set the scene a little bit. So let's like think back in our brains, like 10 years ago. It was June, it was 2015, and it was actually the year that same-sex marriage passed in the Supreme Court. So Pride that year was going to be really crazy because everyone was super excited that everyone in the United States now could get legally married in equal marriage and same-sex marriages.
Yeah, like looking back, it was a crazy Pride. Like everywhere was like super crowded. The excitement level was just like off the charts, which makes complete sense.
And I think one thing that we have to like note here is that both Gabby and I are local New Yorkers. We're both from New York. I'm from Long Island, from the suburbs. You probably already know that, but I haven't lived there in a really long time. Like I think after college, which I went to college in Queens, after that I pretty much like stayed in New York City for the whole part, and Gabby was raised in New York City and Brooklyn. So I think that also kind of goes into the story a bit too, because New York City is a big part of our lives, but also a big part of how we met.
And I think that at this time period, Shanna and I were frequenting a lot of different queer bars in the city. Like obviously we didn't know each other. Separately, like I would go to like Cubbyhole pretty often, or like I would go to like Stonewall pretty often. And I think that Shanna did the same thing with her friends. So that all goes into being part of setting the scene of the story.
Yeah, I think we were at a time in both of our lives where we obviously wanted to meet someone. We were both in our early 20s. Gabby was like in her real early 20s.
Like I think at the time of this story, like
you were
obviously
21, right?
It's 10 years in the future. So right now, not to age myself, but I'm 31 years old. And at the time that this story took place, it was June. My birthday's in July. So I was literally 21 years old. I would turn 22 the next month. I feel like you were 24. Were you 24?
Yeah, I was 24.
You were 24
yeah.
And I was 21. And we didn't start dating until like months later, but we'll get to that. But technically, we met when I was 21, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, we were both in our early 20s. So I think we were both like frequenting the queer bars to try and, you know, experience life as an out queer person in your early 20s. And we both used to go to these places a lot. I think it was June 28th, 2015. I'm pretty sure that was the day that New York City Pride was that year. Obviously, Pride is like a huge thing to do if you're a queer person. And New York City Pride is always a big deal, but like we said, because same-sex marriage had just passed in the Supreme Court, Pride this year was an even bigger deal. And it was actually my first time ever going to Pride, which is crazy.
And I also just want to say that this is a fact that I did not know until maybe 5 years after dating Shanna. I never knew that Pride was the first Pride she ever went to. I feel like you never told me when we started dating. We never had that conversation, like, when was your first Pride? It took a long time to have that conversation, and by the time she said it, I was like, that is so crazy, because even though I'm 21 in this story, I had probably been going to Pride with my friends since I was like 16 years old. Like I would go like in high school to Pride. I wasn't like out, but like I was like there at Pride being an ally. So hearing that the Pride where you met me was the first ever Pride you went to is kind of wild.
It is really crazy.
Talk about a success story.
I had been out for a while because I was like maybe 24 at this point, if I'm like remembering my age correctly. I had just not been to Pride before because I had always been randomly traveling like around the same time that Pride was. So even though I was out and like frequenting like the queer and like lesbian bars in New York City at that time, I had never actually been to Pride before. So it was Pride. It was June 28, 2015, New York City Pride. Same-sex marriage had just passed in the Supreme Court. Pride is crazy. So I could tell my side of the story. I don't know what Gabby was doing before we get to the part where we actually met, but like I went to Pride with one of my friends from home who's also queer, and we were, you know, watching the parade a little bit. We were just like hanging out and stuff. And then we decided, me and my friend, to go to one of the lesbian bars that we went to all the time, Cubbyhole, which I think we mentioned already in this video. But there was a line outside the door because it's Pride, so there's always going to be a lot of people who want to go at that time. So me and my friend were waiting outside of the line at Cubbyhole, probably like somewhere in the afternoon-ish. Like maybe it was like 2 or 3 p.m. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I feel like what Shanna and I will do to tell this story is just fill in the gaps up to the same point in time.
Yeah. I feel like that's the easiest way to do it because like I don't know what Gabby was doing before we met or after we met.
So she can just get up to like a certain point in time and stop, and then I will say what I was doing up to that time. So that year for Pride, the year that Shanna and I met, I begged my best friend Joanna to go to Pride with me. So we went and actually like stood on the street and watched the parade. We got kind of like bored and tired, and like it was like hot and rainy that year. So I remember it was like really humid.
Oh yeah,
it
was raining that year, I remember.
I'm pretty sure that it like rained on us, and we were like, okay, enough of this. Like it's raining, we're done. Let's go to Cubbyhole. And I had never taken her there before. So I remember being like, I have to take you to Cubbyhole. I go there all the time with a bunch of my friends from college. Like, let's go. Because like my friend Joanna, it was always hard to get her to like go to do things in the city. Like we're from Brooklyn, and she always wanted to like be in Brooklyn. So I was like, finally, I'm going to take you to the lesbian bar. Let's go. We're gonna have the time of our lives. So the minute it started raining, we went, and I did not stand on line at all, actually. Like how Shanna's saying she was on the line.
I must have been there later than you then.
I wasn't. We probably got there earlier because we went like the minute the parade started, and when it started raining, we were like, no, we're not standing in the rain. That's not happening. Like we're not buying umbrellas. No. So we pretty much got in. I don't remember standing on line almost at all. And if we did, it was really short. It's not memorable. And we got in, and it's like packed. Like it was sticky and sweaty and packed, and like I said, my friend Joanna had never been there, so we immediately like got drinks and went to like the side of the bar. If you've ever been to Cubbyhole, it's like really small.
It's
like,
really narrow, yeah.
There's like a bar and a wall with the bathrooms, and we were like there, and a jukebox, and we're like there in that area by the jukebox and the bathrooms, like squished against the wall, and we were just like making friends. Like we were just like chatting to people. I feel like my friend, she's very like extroverted. She could talk to anybody, so we're sitting there talking, having drinks, and like talking to people. That's pretty much what was happening by us.
Me and my friend had waited a really long time to get into Cubbyhole. We were making some friends on the line, and there was a girl in front of us that my friend really liked. So she was like kind of flirting with her, and I was like being wing woman, like just like supporting her all the way. So eventually we get into the bar, and like Gabby said, it's really crowded. So I'm standing with my friend. She's kind of like flirting with the girl that that we met online with. And I do distinctly remember that there were girls inside the bar who were taking their shirts off because I feel like, you know, why not? It's Pride, same-sex marriage passed, let's go crazy, why not? So a bunch of girls like took their shirts off by the bar, and then my friend who I was with went to go see what was going on over there and like investigate and like maybe talk to those girls, whatever. So then I was kind of left like by myself. So I was like, okay, maybe I should just like get a drink, because I feel like when you're alone at a bar, like obviously you have to get a drink. But to get a drink when the bar's crowded, you have to like make your way through, whatever. So I'm at the bar, I'm ordering a drink, and I notice someone next to me.
So while all of this is happening, me, my friend Joanna, and this other girl are like chatting. They were kind of like flirting, I would say, but then things started getting really like crazy in the bar, which is what I think that Shanna's talking about, seeing from her experience. So the girl that we had just met, everyone starts taking their shirts off. Everybody is like literally topless. And I just want to say that this has never happened to me at Cubbyhole since. And
literally
like,
same.
Never before and never again. It was just like a special thing of that day. Everybody was shirtless, like no pasties, nothing, shirtless, okay, at the bar. And it was just like a whole group of friends that had decided to do it. It wasn't like random necessarily. Yeah. And I feel like I was obviously talking to one of the girls that felt the need to like
join in
and like, or was part of that group. I don't even know. I mean, if you're one of the people that was at that bar that day and got topless, please comment so we can have a conversation about this, because it was just like something that only happened that day in 2015. But anyway, she basically got shirtless and we kept talking to her. It wasn't like it wasn't weird or anything. It was just like we were all chatting. But like I said, my friend and her were a little more like chatting with each other. And I had seen Shanna talking with a few friends from like across the bar, because I was like looking around, you know, I was single. I was looking around the bar being like, is there anyone cute here? And I had said to my friend Joanna, oh, I think that girl's really cute actually. Like, look at her tattoo. She seems super cool. She was wearing like, I can't remember now, it was like jean shorts.
I was wearing jean shorts, and I had like a gray tank top that like I had bought from like a website that had like, it said something queer on it. I don't remember exactly what it said, but there was like a rainbow heart
Yeah.
Or something
It was like a muscle tank or something.
Yeah, it was like a men's like muscle tee, but it was like a queer brand or something.
And maybe you were wearing plaid or something.
Yeah,
I feel like
was wearing my
that.
favorite plaid shirt that got donated at Caris at your grandma's house because I had bought it that day because it was raining. So me and my friend, like while it was raining, we went to like a thrift store and I bought like a plaid shirt because it gets a little chilly when it's like raining, you know?
Yeah, so I had seen Shanna. I had mentioned to my friend like, oh, I think that girl's really cute. Like I might like try to approach her, but like you were talking to other people and you were like really, like when Shanna talks to someone, even now, she's like fully engaged in the conversation. And I don't like to break up a conversation. Like I'm more of an introvert, but I'm actually really good at like approaching people, and I don't feel like too shy about approaching someone if I like have worked myself up to it. So I was like, you know what? If I see it, I'm gonna like watch what they're doing out of the corner of my eye, and if I see an opportunity, I'm gonna go and like talk to that girl. That's what I had said to my friend. Like, oh, I'll go and like talk to her. Like, it's fine, but like I'm just gonna wait for like the moment. So I see Shanna start going to the bar, and I'm like, oh my god, perfect. I'm gonna just like go to the bar and I'll get another drink, and if the moment arises to talk and it makes sense, I will. Right? So like then I'm standing kind of near Shanna, but like not next to her necessarily. And like people get their drinks and like you're going to get your drink, and it was taking forever to get a drink, which is not a crazy occurrence.
Yeah, there's only like a few bartenders and obviously there's so many people in the bar trying to get a drink, so.
Yeah, but at the time I'm like, okay, perfect. Like this is like an excuse to like start up a conversation, because like you're always trying to think of a way, if you're like trying to meet someone, to like start up the conversation without it being like weird or awkward. Like it helps when something like natural is happening in the environment. So I think like I made a joke to you. I think I said something like, oh my god, like typical Pride, like you can never get a drink, like, and then I think I was joking that I can never get like the attention of whatever bartender it is, because I never can. To this day. That is extremely hard for me. So like I think I made a joke about it, and then you were like joking back at me, and then like, you know, like I'm ordering my drink but you're still standing there with your drink, and then I'm saying something to you like about your tattoo. I remember that I was
I'm gonna show you my tattoo, by the way, because here, I'll try and like get it so this is my tattoo. Obviously it's of a naked woman, so for any queer woman, I think that is a really good starting point. That's one thing I remember from like when like you first like approached me, was like saying something about my tattoo or like complimenting my tattoo.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that's a good way to like get to start a conversation. Like I was just trying to like talk to you longer, but also like I didn't want to, like I'm not gonna be weird. Like, you know, like if the conversation flows, great. If not, like I always felt like with flirting with someone, if you like compliment them or you talk to them and then the conversation dies, like, okay, bye. But like that was not how it was with you. Like I feel like I kind of like complimented Shanna's tattoo, and then she was just like actually chatting with me. I can't even remember now 100% what the conversation was about. It was probably just like normal conversation, like, oh, how's your Pride? Like, where are you from? Whatever. Like, I remember you telling me that you lived in Queens, and we were like by the bar, and then you were like, oh, let's go over here. And then like I walked over with you, and I was saying like, oh yeah, like that's my friend, she's talking to that topless girl over there. And you were like, oh, my friend went to go talk to that topless girl over there. And then we were just like chatting, like, and like talking, and like I remember just like chatting with you and like really, really vibing. Like,
yeah,
it felt
I
like
remember
the conversation was just like,
yeah. It was flowing. And I remember, like, I don't know how long we were talking, but I remember we were talking for like a really long time. Like I don't know how long it was in actuality, but it felt like a really long time, and like in a way like just felt like, you know, we had so much to talk about even though we had just met. Like I remember some things we talked about was like I was moving from like Fresh Meadows, which is where I lived in Queens at that point, to like Astoria with like new roommates, so I was like telling you about that. I remember, what else were we talking about? I don't remember all that much because obviously it's a bar, we were drinking. So I do remember like parts of the conversation we had, but I don't remember like every single thing that we talked about. I think you say you remember a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like also like looking back at the story, Shanna might have been a little drunk, but I was not really drunk. I probably had like one drink, and I was probably on my like second or third drink. Like I don't remember being drunk at all, and like I don't know. I feel like we talked for like at least an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It felt like a long time, like longer than you would like have a conversation in a bar with like most people, I would say.
Like it just felt like a really good conversation, and I still feel that today. Like 9 years later, I'm like, you're my favorite person to talk to. Like I feel like we just like bounce off each other. You know what I mean? We do. Like, and it felt like that. It felt like, oh my god, I'm having like an amazing conversation with this girl. Like there's chemistry. Like,
yes.
And she's interesting. Like she's interesting to talk to. I feel like you might have mentioned that like you grew up in Long Island, and like I was born in Long Island and grew up there for like the first like 8 or 9 years of my life before moving to Brooklyn. So that was like something I think we like bonded off of, and I feel like we were talking about like regular things, like
just
you know, like
normal,
the bar.
Yeah.
I feel like we were talking, I think, about like what you did and what I did, which were kind of similar. Like I probably at this time had graduated college recently, and I was like in the freelance photography world. That was like the jobs that I was doing, and you're a videographer. So I feel like at the time we're like bouncing off that maybe like our careers and interests are similar. Which
also, I just want to note
true.
that Gabby had like blue hair.
I had blue hair. Yeah.
At this point.
I
like,
did. I wonder if I could find a photo of this time for you to use.
I think so. If you've seen our older videos, Gabby used to have like pink in her hair, like either where it was like one side or like a streak or whatever. But at this time, Gabby had blue hair. So that's one thing I remember too.
Like this whole side of my hair was probably blue. Like the whole underneath side, because I like really dyed my hair a lot then. It was like bluish purple. It was like, you know.
Yeah. And
I remember what I was wearing. My outfit is so tragic.
You had like black shorts.
I had black shorts, but like at the time they were the ones that were like ripped and had like studs all over them.
Yeah, they had studs all, yeah, I remember that.
And I think I was just wearing like a black tank top. I don't think I was wearing anything.
I don't remember your shirt.
I don't think I was wearing anything pridey. I think I had like a little
flag
and like a pin, something like that.
Obviously our conversation was really good. We were talking for a while, but I started to notice like Gabby's friend Joanna like standing like off to the side, like I guess she was done talking to whoever she was talking to, and like I could just tell that like she wasn't really talking to anyone else, and like maybe she was like, you know, ready to leave or wanted to tell Gabby something, like whatever. So I could like kind of tell that like, you know, that her friend was like ready to leave. She was like, oh, like I feel like Gabby's probably gonna leave soon. I think like you went to go talk to Joanna, and then you like came back to like say bye to me.
Yeah, like over Shanna's shoulder, I could tell that my friend was like now alone, not talking to anyone, and I could tell that like it had been a while. Like what Shanna's saying, I feel like I left the bar like at like 7 or 8 or something, and like we had been there since like 9 a.m. So for me, so I like knew that my friend was like kind of done.
Your
like,
friend who like doesn't normally go out like this all the time.
Yeah, she's not like that. She's not like a going out all the time kind of person. So I was like noticing it and like feeling bad and kind of like loving our conversation. Like I wanted to keep talking to you, but I also I'm not the kind of person now or then to like ditch my friend in any kind of situation like that. So I kind of was like, oh, I'm gonna go check up on my friend. And then when I talked to her, she was kind of like, oh, like I want you to keep talking to the girl you like, but like I'm really done. Like I just like I'm hungry, I'm tired, I want to go, right? So, and we had like had fun together all day. So I was like, okay, yeah. Okay, so then I was like, let me go say bye to like who I'm talking to. Like I'll leave with you, but like, you know, I'll try and get her number or something. Like I like her, she's cool, whatever. So then I go up to Shanna, and I felt really bad actually because I didn't want to leave, but it was just like it was time, you know. And so like we keep talking, and I'm just like, you know, like my friend, like she wants to go. Like I have to leave. Like I feel really bad. Like I don't want to leave. I want to keep talking to you, but like I have to go. So like, can I get like your Instagram? That was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, can I get your Instagram?
And in my head, I'm thinking like, at that time in 2015, I thought that was like a little weird to ask. I was like, why doesn't she want my number? Like, why does she want my Instagram? I think nowadays that would be totally normal. Like in present day, asking for someone's Instagram instead of their number would be like totally normal. But back in 2015, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, maybe she doesn't like, in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe she doesn't really like me that much, so she doesn't want me to like have her number in case like, I don't know. So I'm like, all right, sure, you can have my Instagram. But in my head this whole time, I'm thinking like,
you could ask for my number. I mean, I'm putting in all the work here. I just want to say, looking back on this story, I'm like, I am putting in all of the work. Shanna's just like passenger princess when it comes to dating, and I'm just like, want to go out with me? Give me your Instagram. Let's hang out. I'm gonna approach you. This is very us, I'll say.
But yeah, so Gabby,
and she's the extrovert, you guys. Seriously, that's a fact.
That is true. So Gabby asked for my Instagram. We exchange Instagrams, and then she leaves. And then I stay at the bar, and like I think eventually I find my friend, but at some point like I actually end up talking to like another girl and like kissing another girl at the end of that night who was Brazilian. Totally different than Gabby.
Whatever, that's fine.
But that's what happens at Pride.
That is what you do at Pride.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whatever.
Because Gabby and I did not kiss. I think you kissed me on the cheek.
I think
when
that
you
like
left.
we went in for like a weird, awkward kind of kiss. Like it was like a confusing thing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember it being a confusing thing. Like I kind of went in for a kiss, and you kind of went in for a kiss, and we both got each other's cheeks, and then we were like,
I thought in my head, but also like I was drinking, so I don't know if this is something really true. I thought you went to kiss my cheek and not my lips.
I think it was just like wasn't like a, oh hi, I like your shirt, let's make out. Like those happened too, and that was not this.
It was more intimate like than a normal time when you're like at a bar trying to like hook up with someone. Like that wasn't the vibe of our conversation.
Like sometimes you approach someone at a bar and you're like, I like your tattoo, and they're like, oh thanks, and then you make out. I mean, like that has happened many times, but like that was not this, you know, like it was more intimate.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring back up the Instagram thing. Like, at the time, I was pretty active on Instagram, and my idea with it was that, like, you know, when you get someone's number, you never know if they're giving you their real number, and you also don't know anything about them. And, like, when you get an Instagram, you can kind of, like, see what that person is like a little bit. You have, like, direct contact to them.
I mean, I definitely get it now, but, like, back in 2015, I was, like, I thought it was weird, but, like, once you explained it to me, I was like, oh, yeah, like, that makes total sense.
Like, it wasn't, like, an I'm not interested in you thing. It was actually, like, a I am interested in you
and
thing.
I want to, like, learn more about you.
Yeah, exactly. And in the end, this is what makes us become girlfriends, so I just want to say that I think that I did this correctly. This is the day we meet, we exchange info, Shanna makes out with a Brazilian girl, I go home with my friend, I have a great time, you know what I mean? I think also at the time, like, obviously there was no conversation. We met at a bar. There was no conversation of, like, are you single? Are you single? It was more like, you know, like
we met, we had a conversation, and, like, maybe we'll keep in touch kind of thing.
Like, looking back, like, I think at this time period when we meet, we're both, like, actively, like, in the dating world, like, dating people, like, seeing other people. Like, I had people that I was, like, seeing but not serious with. You're making out with a girl at a bar. That's just, like, it's pride.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Okay, that's June. We obviously have each other's Instagrams, but I don't think, if I'm remembering correctly, that we really did much with each other's Instagrams in the first, like, few months.
No,
right? Like, I don't think I ever liked or commented on anything of yours.
Like,
I don't think you liked or commented on anything of mine,
no,
from what I can remember.
That would be creepy. I followed you. You followed me.
Yeah.
We were mutuals,
yeah.
I guess you would say.
So that was June. So the next time Gabby and I have contact is in October. And this is the part where we agree to disagree on what happened. Okay, so obviously, like, after Pride, like, I'm telling all my friends, you know, like, oh yeah, like, I met this girl, we had a really good conversation, like, we're following each other on Instagram, but, like, who knows what's gonna happen kind of thing. So, like, I had told, like, a lot of my really close friends and my roommates and stuff about, like, that I met Gabby, but that, you know, they knew that I met a girl at Pride, but, like, nothing really happened from it per se, I'll say. This is important to, like, tell that, like, okay, like, our friends knew that we met each other, but, like, nothing really happened. I think that's, like, important context for, like, the next parts of the story.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't know if I told, like, tons of people about meeting you at the bar, but my best friend was there, so, like, she would ask about it, and, like, she did meet you. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but,
yeah,
like,
I remember talking to Joanna.
I did bring Joanna over, and I was like, oh, like, this is Shanna, like, oh, and you, like, talked a little, and I remember Joanna being like, oh, I like her, she's fun.
And we were both Tauruses, so.
Yeah, and so you heard how we met, but you have not heard how we actually got together and wound up being girlfriends, and that is now this part. You heard how we met, the Pride story, the almost kiss.
But I feel like that's how we, like, met each other, but not how, like, most people think when you meet, then, like, you know, things happen and you either become an item or you don't. For us, I feel like it was a longer story that I feel like is important to tell in this video. Now it's a few months later, it's October, and I think because we were both in the dating scene, like, there were dating apps back then, but they didn't work as well, especially for queer people, as they do now.
They worked okay.
Yeah, they worked okay. Like, sometimes on the dating apps back then, if you would put in that you were a woman interested in women, it would, like, still show you men and stuff. I think nowadays it is a lot better because we know so many queer people, like, of our friends who, like, have met their partner, like, on a dating app. But back in 2015, it wasn't like that. So I was on OkCupid, and Gabby was on OkCupid, and one day I, like, opened the app, and I have a message from Gabby, and I think it said something like, hey, do you remember me? Like, we met at Pride or something.
And, like, okay, so October. So I have been seeing Shanna on Instagram for months. Obviously, I'm not, like, liking anything. That would be crazy. Even now, that would be crazy. Okay, don't be liking someone's post like that. So I had seen your stuff. I wasn't really liking it, but, like, I kind of was keeping up. I was like, oh, yeah, like, this girl likes football. Like, she, like, likes whatever. You know, I had seen, like, some cute photos of you. Like, you were, like, you were on my radar. You were on my mind. I was like, okay, like, she's really cute. Like, that girl that I had, like, that really good conversation with. And at the time, I'm on everything, you guys. I'm on every dating app. I'm on Tinder. I'm on Hinge. I'm on whatever exists. I was on, like, Bumble. And I was, like, dating, like, actively, you know? So I was, like, you know, messaging people, going on dates. Most of them were absolutely horrible. But then I am on OkCupid, and I actually barely used OkCupid.
Me too. I barely used it, too.
Like, to me, it was, like, an old app. Even back then, I was like, this app.
Yeah, like,
no offense if you're on OkCupid
I remember
right
people,
now.
like, on their desktops, like, in, like, the early 2000s going on OkCupid for, like, to meet a match or whatever.
Literally. But I was like, you know what? I'll try my luck. Like, you know, there's not a lot of, like, queer women on any of these apps, really. Like, and I was getting to the point where I was, like, filtering through and seeing the same people and being like, no, right? And so I was like, whatever, I'll go look on OkCupid. So one day I do that, and who do I see? Shanna on OkCupid. So I'm like, oh my God, that is the girl that I see on Instagram. That is the girl that I met at the bar. Like, I'm gonna try, because you know what? Like, we, yet again, matched. Like, what is happening? We yet again matched on OkCupid. So she probably remembers me, and I remember her. So I just messaged being like, hey, do you remember me? Like, we met at Cubbyhole on Pride over the summer.
And from what I remember, I think I responded to your first message. I don't remember what I
think
said.
you did.
This is important to note, people. This is the most important part of the story.
She said something like, oh my God, yes, of course I remember you. Like, how are you doing? And then we were like having the back and forth.
Yeah.
Situation.
Okay, but this is the part that's important to the story, guys, okay? I need to put this out there. I did not have my notifications on for the OkCupid app. So, like, you know, normally if you have your notifications on, if, like, you get a message or someone DM'd you, like, you get, like, a notification to your phone, but I did not have that on for OkCupid because I was, like, not really checking it that much. So I think the day that you messaged me, I remember, like, I was at work, and I was, like, responding to, like, while I was at work, and then I must have, like, forgotten to, like, respond to, like, your last message or whatever. And then I, like, never thought about it again because I didn't have my notifications on.
So I would call that ghosting, you guys. Like, I mean,
I would not.
I could say that she's busy. I'm not, like, mad about this for the record at all.
I think ghosting.
But
okay, wait.
Shanna and I have different definitions of ghosting. Like, she never answered my message, whether saw it or not, notification or not, whatever. And then she never thought about me again until months and months later, not even considering that maybe I had answered her message without her notifications on.
Okay.
Like, she would never have, like, seen the notification because there was no notification, which means she legitimately never checked the app to check if she was having a conversation with me, which means she didn't care, which means she ghosted me. I'm sorry. Like, how am I supposed to take that?
Okay,
To this day, I'm like, that is, it's not purposeful ghosting, but it be ghosting.
Okay. I feel like in my head, ghosting is when you purposely don't answer someone because you don't want to talk to them anymore. That is how I take the definition of ghosting. So I feel like because I didn't purposefully ignore Gabby, I just like forgot about it and didn't check the app. I don't think it's ghosting, but you all can judge below and see who you agree with because I don't think it's ghosting.
I still think that's ghosting. I don't think it is purposeful.
We'll never agree.
I agree that we'll never agree. We'll be like 92 years old
and be
filming
like,
a how we met video, how we met.
I'm gonna ghost you.
And you ghosted me.
Anyway, I didn't respond to the message.
To be clear, I'm not mad about the ghosting situation either way.
Funny.
It's just a fact of what happened. It just is funny because Shannon and I will never agree that this is still ghosting. But you let us know down below.
I think
that ghosting? Is it ghosting whether it is purposeful or not?
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Let's stick with that.
But I think what it goes to show is like, yet again, we are connected in some way, but then nothing comes of it. So that's like now the second time now where we've like connected, but nothing really came of it.
And at this point, me personally, like in my life, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is not meant to be. That's what I thought at the time. I'm like, this is not meant to be. Like, you know, like I tried, I talked to her, it like was like two ships in the night, not meant to be. And then I messaged her, you know, I followed her, I messaged her on OkCupid. She ghosted me. Clearly she's not interested because like if she was interested, she would want to talk to me and like go on a date or something. And like, I feel like I'm doing all the work with no like actual results. So I was just like, okay, she's not into me. Like, so I don't even think after you didn't answer me, I don't even think I sent a follow-up message because I was just like, if she doesn't want to talk to me, it's not meant to be. The end. Like maybe she's seeing somebody else. Like what do I know? Literally.
So that was October. So now we're going to flash forward a few more months to December. And I remember I still have screenshots of all of this stuff. So I'll like insert it when, you know, we're talking
embarrassing.
About it. So me and my roommates had a Christmas party and I like made my own shirt that said like ho ho homo on it. Like I like did it with like shirt paint or something. And I posted that on my Instagram. And there is a comment, as you can see under that post, from Gabby. And why did you comment on that when you said it was weird to comment on?
Wow, shut up. Okay, so like I said I wasn't gonna comment and I was gonna give up and all of that stuff, but I'm not very good at listening to myself. So we're in December now. I'm in Curacao with my family. A month before or something, I had just ended a relationship that was like kind of serious. And I was like, I'm single, right? Okay. And I see this photo of Shanna and I'm with my brother and I'm like, oh my God, I just can't like stop thinking about this girl. Like she's so cute. Like I should just give up. Like, do you think I should just give up or do you think I should like try one more time? And like, maybe I should just comment. And I like that, like, looking back at this now and seeing my comment, I'm like, that's like the bare minimum. Like, but this felt like...
But actually commenting, I think, is a big step because we had never engaged with each other on Instagram, even though we had each other's Instagrams for 6 months.
Like, liking and commenting on a photo when you're just like secretly lurking like a little like ghost girl is like such a big step. I don't even know how to explain this. It's like jumping out on a limb. I feel like you know this if you're like flirting with someone or there's someone you like online, like when you don't engage, because that's like the norm is to like not engage with any of it, and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna comment. It's like extreme flirting. It's like me saying like, you look so cute or whatever the hell I said.
Think for you, I think that's like an introvert way of seeing it, because I don't see it the same way, but I know for you that would be like a big deal.
Okay, but like it was obvious flirting. So I was like, okay, like should I comment? Like at that point, like it's obvious that like I'm into her and I'm trying to like talk to her. And if like she doesn't react to that, then I'm done. Like that was literally me in that moment. I was like, if she doesn't respond or react to this and just ignores it, then I'm done and this is not meant to be at all. Like this is my last attempt. This is it. The end. If that had not worked, we would not be together sitting here right now filming this video where we don't agree on ghosting. So I commented. My brother was like, do it. Comment. Do it right now. And I'm like, okay, what should I write? And we're like sitting there like conspiring, and I'm like type, send. And then I was like, oh my God, throw my phone away.
So at that exact moment when Gabby is commenting, I am FaceTiming, or probably like Skyping, whatever. It was 2015 still, at this point, with my best friend who lives in Sweden. And I had told her, obviously, when Gabby and I met, like, oh, I met this girl at Pride, whatever, like nothing happened. So when I see the comment come in, because I do have my Instagram notifications on, I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, oh my God, Caro. Caro, by the way, is still like my best friend to this day. She just lives in Sweden. But I'm like, oh my God, Caro, like, do you remember that girl I was telling you about at Pride? I was like, she just commented on my Instagram post. And Carol's like, oh my God, like, that's like so cool, like, blah, blah, blah. And like, we're talking about it, and we're like trying to decide like, what is my next move? I'm like, okay, I could comment back. I'm like, or should I just like take a risk and like DM her? And Carol's like, you should DM her, like take the risk, like just DM her, like see what happens. So I'm going on Gabby's Instagram trying to figure out like what I should say, and I can tell that she's traveling and visiting her family, whatever. So I think I still have the screenshots of the message. I think I'm just not looking at them like currently, but like you can see them here. So I think I said something like, oh, like hope you're enjoying your like trip to Curacao or something like that. And then I get an immediate response that says this.
Meanwhile, in Curacao, I'm like, holy sh**. She answered me. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, this is meant to be. She's into me. Okay, right? So I'm like, with my brother, my co-conspirator here in this moment, I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I am so tired of not being answered by this girl. Like, I'm just gonna ask her out. And my brother's like, you do it, right? Great advice. It actually was good advice, but looking back, I'm like, wow, I jumped the gun so fast. Like,
it's literally like
Shanna's like, hi, and I'm like, go out with me.
Literally, it's like, how's your trip? And then it's like, let's go out.
It might not be smooth, everyone, but it worked. So, I mean, it actually worked. Like, write that in big bold letters up here. It worked, right? So I'm just literally like, I'm asking her out. I have to ask her out. Like, so I like don't even know what you said, but my response is definitely like, yeah, I'm in Curacao. Want to go out with me when I get back?
Yeah.
Like, literally something like that. I'm like, literally like, I'm going to get a date with this girl. I'm going to try to get a date with this girl.
So like, you can just see from the screenshots here, I'll just put them over here. Like, we obviously like talked a little bit after that. We like decided like when Gabby was coming back, like we were going to go out on a date. But what I do remember is that like you were coming back and you suggested a date to go out, but I had my like good friend's birthday, who was like my roommate the previous year, on the day that you suggested, but I didn't want to like wait to like go out with you. So I was just like,
cute, by the way.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, if I can't do this day, then we're gonna go back and forth kind of thing, and like I didn't want to like go back and forth. I was like, well, obviously like we've met a few times, or we've connected a few times, I should say.
We've been passing like this, right?
So I'm like, I don't, if I say, oh, I can't do the day she suggested, then we're gonna have to figure out like another day, and like maybe it won't work, whatever. So I was like, okay, I can do that day, but like I have to go to like my roommate's or whatever, my like other roommate's birthday party like after that, like you can come with me, like is that okay? And in my head, I'm thinking, like, this is, like, so, one, weird, but two, like, so lesbian to, like, bring a girl that, like, you're on a first date with to, like, your friend's birthday party. But I'm also, like, I really wanted to, like, go on a date with Gabby and, like, see her, and I didn't want to have to do back and forth of, like, trying to make a day work. And, like, you were like, yeah, that's fine. Like, you were, like, cool with that.
Yeah, in my head, I was like, that's a little weird, but, yeah, it shows initiative. I'm into it. I thought it was cute. But, I just want to say that, so then we have this date set. I mean, you can tell that, I think, in this point of the story, I guess that both of us are kind of like, okay, we're not missing this.
Yeah, like
go out on a date.
Because, like, we got to see if this is, like, legit.
But then, I just want everyone to know, I get off Instagram. At this point, we're like, okay, we have a date set. Let's get each other's numbers. We exchange numbers. I spent the rest, there was probably like a week left of my trip in Curacao, and I feel like we spend the rest of the time like constantly texting. Like I felt like I was texting you a lot.
Yeah, I was texting you a lot back too, because like this was like the time period, you know, they always say that weird time period between like Christmas and New Year's where like you're not working and you're whatever.
You're away.
I wasn't working, so I was like home, and then at some point I went to Ohio to visit my friends in the Midwest at that point too. So then we were kind of like both on the trip, and then I think that's when we were figuring out like when we could actually like meet up and
like go on the date. But now we're like texting back and forth, and I feel like it's just like, it's not like one of those situations where you have nothing to talk about. Yet again, Shanna and I, when we are talking to each other,
we can talk forever. I mean, this video is probably so long because we're just yapping away.
But if you follow us, you probably want to see this. So we're texting a lot, and I actually remember I was texting you so much that like everybody knew about you. And I was like, in life, I had been out for a little while, and I was like out, but like I was not out. I have a lot of family in Curacao, and I was not out to all of them. I was not like out to my like extended family. It didn't make sense, and there was no reason to do that prior to like being with someone. And I like felt like it wasn't anyone's business, and I kind of got outed because at a party, like I went to like a New Year's party, and I'm like texting Shanna, and I'm drinking, and I'm just like, I'm talking to this girl.
Gabby's back from Curacao, I'm back from Ohio, and then we go on our first date, which is at a Mexican restaurant in the city that is no longer there, but we were able to go back a few years ago, so we were able to go back again like maybe it was like 2 years ago.
I know that I planned our date, like, because Shanna obviously had that birthday party, and she had kind of said from the beginning, okay, if it goes well, come to the birthday party with me. And so I was like, okay, well then I'll plan the date, you know? So like Shanna told me like, she's vegan. I tried to find a place that like had vibes and was cute but also had vegan options, and I wasn't vegan. I found that little like cute little Mexican spot. It was like on Orchard Street in the city, and it was really, I'm so proud of myself for this one. It was really vibey.
It was really cute. It was like a really good date spot. It was very like intimate, like, you know, mood lighting, and like tables really close together, like, you know, typical New York City kind of vibe.
They had like, you know, they brought us to the second floor, and we got a table, and they had like really like these couches. It was really cute.
So we obviously had a really good time at dinner, chatting and stuff. And the dinner took a little bit, like, you know, like normally in New York City, like things are pretty fast and like you're done in like an hour or so. But I think we were just like sitting there for a while. We like ordered a second drink and stuff.
It was like a 4-hour dinner. Yeah. And I was so nervous. I felt like really, really like walking to the date. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I hope this is going to be like go well. Cause like I've built this up in my head now. Like I've been talking to this girl for so long. It'll be so weird if it isn't, you know? Like you don't know what dating, you don't know.
But I do remember that like we were there so long that like the upstairs where we were eating like kind of like dwindled out, and then there was like no one really up there, like besides
no
us.
one.
Like no waiters, like no wait staff, like nothing.
Like so, it was probably like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
I don't like 10, 11, something like that.
It was pretty late. So then there was like this like big couch or whatever, and Gabby and I go over to that couch, and we're still chatting, and that's where we have our first kiss.
Yeah, it was actually really romantic. Yeah. Like it was like the whole restaurant like emptied out, and nobody was there, no servers, nothing, and we just like sat on this couch and we had our first kiss. It was really romantic.
And then after that, I'm like, okay, like now it was like really late. It was like probably like 11 or like midnight almost. And I'm like,
you were
okay,
like, I'm gonna be late.
I'm gonna be late to my friend's party, but it's okay. And then I was like, do you want to come with me? And Gabby said yeah. So we ended up going to my friend's birthday, which was at Stout. So if you know New York City, you probably know Stout. It's like a bar right by Penn Station, but in the basement they do karaoke on the weekends, or at least they used to. I wonder if they still do that. I think so, because we went like kind of recently. But it was my friend's birthday. They were doing karaoke, and it was like not only all like my roommates, it was like all my friends from college and my current roommates were there. So it was like a lot of people that like I'm friends with, and it was like I was just like, oh God, I'm gonna bring a girl over. Like they obviously all know that I'm gay, but like I'm like, now I'm gonna bring a girl, and then I have to explain to everyone like, this is not my girlfriend, we're just on a first date. Like it was like a whole thing. But I think Gabby did like such a good job like being like, you know, in a space where like I was obviously comfortable, but like she probably was not comfortable.
To this day, I like wish that we could just ask them like, what were you thinking when Shanna brought over like a random girl she was on a first date with? Like you were literally like, I'm on a first date, and I swear to you guys, like on this day, I met almost every single one of Shanna's friends. You don't understand. Like, we're on our first date, we're flirting, we're vibing, we're having fun. And I legitimately met, like, every single close friend Shanna had at that time period. Like that's what happened that day. I met everyone.
But, like, what was cool about it is, like, it was my really good friend Tim's birthday. He's, like, my best friend from high school, who was also my roommate. And, like, we went to the same college. It was also my roommate, like, later on. But Tim, I remember, was like dancing with Gabby and stuff, and like Tim was always super supportive of like me like being gay and stuff. So it was like just like really nice to like, you know, see you in that like atmosphere with like all my friends.
Yeah, like everyone was so nice to me, like so nice. They were like getting to know me. Like Tim like took me and like danced with me, what Shanna's talking about. I remember your friend Will was like, oh my god, I heard about you, and like hugged me.
Yeah, like Will was my current roommate.
Guy.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
So then after like the party was over, I remember like Gabby and I like walked to the train, and it was snowing, right?
It was like, it started snowing.
Yeah, it started snowing.
Like, I feel like this story, somebody write a book.
Yeah, because, please. Like, this is like, we're giving you all the context you need to write like a great lesbian book.
We're giving you a great lesbian book right now. Like, feel free to name the characters Gabby and Shanna. Go wild. But like, of course, we're walking to the train to like go home. I feel like it's like 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
Yeah,
like,
it was really late.
It's really late now. 2 or 3 a.m. It was like a full long night, like, and like obviously we had kissed at the restaurant, but we hadn't kissed since. It was like, you know, we were just like being cute, like holding hands, like talking, like it's a date. And it starts snowing, and I remember it was super cold, and we like kissed in the snow.
Yeah,
and it was like
kind of
really
like
romantic.
by the train.
At the time, I lived in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, and Shanna lived in Astoria, Queens, which, like, if you know New York, it's like an hour and a half away from each other.
But you can take the same like train line, like
you could
at least you could back then. Like we could take the same train line, or like the same, you know, go to the same subway stop, but like we couldn't go in the same like direction, so we could never like ride the subway together.
Like you can't now. Like it used to be that the Q train went to both stops. It was almost the end of one stop in Brooklyn and the end of the other, like the end in Astoria, and the city was like in the middle. So we went down to the train together, and we would have to stand on opposite platforms, but you could still see each other. Like, you know, like she's going uptown, I'm going downtown, same train line.
Yeah. So I remember like Gabby got on the train first, and I think I texted you something like, let me know when you get home, or something like that.
You said something like that, like, I had an amazing date with you, let me know when you get home. And at the time, I was like, oh my god, like, this is like going so well, because like, to me, like, talking to someone and them like being responsive is really important, and it still is to this day. And I was like, okay, like I didn't have to like send the first message. That means like that she's into me or whatever, you know? So I was like really happy with how that went.
And then like I think that was like over the weekend, and then I think we went on like our next date, like it was like a Monday or Tuesday or something. So it was like immediately after that we went on like our next date. Yeah. And that date we do have pictures of, because we didn't take any pictures or like anything the first time we went, but I do have pictures of us on the, I'll put them over here.
On that date.
But yeah, so basically, I feel like that is basically the story of how we met, because then from then on in, it's just like how we continued dating and became girlfriends, whatever.
Basically that's it. I feel like it's like the 10th of January or something when we go on our first date. It's some random day like that. And then
it is, because that's Tim's birthday.
Yeah,
January
it's like
10th.
the 10th of January, so I'm right. And then we literally we probably go on a date every 3 days for the next like 2 weeks. And then by the 27th, Shanna asked me to be her girlfriend. And at that point, I had already like been to your apartment, met
your like roommates again. I had been to your apartment. I like met your dad.
Basically, once we went on that first date, then everything from there was just like a snowball effect of like it feeling right. Like everything just felt right. Like everything worked. And by the next month, like we're girlfriends. And now it's almost 10 years later. Like we've been together. We've been girlfriends for 9 years now. We obviously got married 2 years ago. We eloped. And this year in June, it will be our...
This pride
will be our 10-year
meeting
anniversary, whatever you want to call it.
That is so
Pride.
crazy.
Like I feel like we have to do something really special. We want to make like a banner or something.
Yeah, I want to make like a sign that says like we met at Pride 10 years ago and now we're married or something like that.
Yeah, but that's really, really special. We've been talking to someone online. We might do like a little like cubbyhole photo shoot, and I feel like it's perfect timing considering we met like 10 years ago now. It's crazy.
It's so crazy. But if you think about it, we met at New York City Pride at a lesbian bar right when same-sex marriage passed. Like, I feel like that is just absolutely crazy. And I think just more so, like, not that there's anything wrong at all with, like, meeting your partner on a dating app or anything. Like, it doesn't make anything more or less valid. But I think it's just really cool that we met in person at Pride at a lesbian bar when we're lesbians. I don't know. I just feel like that's, like, a really cool story. And very, like, unique story, too.
And I think it's one that neither of us expected. Like, I did not expect to go out and go to Cubbyhole on Pride in 2015.
On my first Pride ever.
On your first Pride ever. and meet like my person, like
Yeah.
my soulmate. Like I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
and the
me
fact that
either.
that's what happened is really crazy.
It's
like
really
to
crazy.
be honest. Especially because I think that you can tell from the story that I think there's multiple times where both of us were like, is this gonna work? I don't know. You know, like you had that when I gave you the Instagram. I had that when you ghosted me. And like I feel like then it just like all came together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like it is like a classic story of like right person, wrong time. Like, you know, we met at Pride, but like I don't think there's ever a world where we would have got together on that day.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's good that we didn't because of that. Like we got to know each other longer.
I think we also experienced different things. Like you said, you like ended a relationship, and I think I also was like seeing someone who like all my friends were kind of like, I don't know if this person is like right for you or whatever. But then like we ended up like we never like really became like a thing, but all my friends were like, yeah, I don't know if I like her or whatever. And then the second like everyone met Gabby, they were like, oh my god, I love her. Da, da, da.
Yeah, it's like the timing, even though we met at Pride, and I'm really glad that we met then, it's like we would not have become girlfriends then because like the timing in both of our lives wasn't right. Like you were like moving into a new apartment the first time we met, and by the time we meet 6 months later, you're like happy living with your roommates. Like I feel like a lot changed for us in that like 6 months time span.
Yeah.
And like by the time we went on our first date, it was like the right time.
Agree, 100%.
Like it felt from the beginning like this is the right person, the right time, the right everything, and our relationship just like developed like that, you know?
And I also feel like because there were so many
I love you so much.
I feel like because there were so many times in our like how we met story that we like connected, it just made it feel like it was like meant to be, because it was like the universe was like really trying to like put us together, and we didn't latch on until absolutely necessary. There were also some weird things that like, if me and Gabby think about it, like we were also at a lot of the same things at the same time. Like we were
like,
both
throughout life,
like not just like even before we ever met, like we were both at like the same like Glee live concert,
just so random
in New Jersey, because she has a friend who was obsessed with Glee and I was obsessed with Glee. So and we were both at the exact same one, and we know that because they were filming like the movie of like the Glee live concert at the concert we were at.
Yeah.
So we know we were at that. And I think even when we were kids, we also figured out that we were also at like the same like NSYNC concert or something when we were kids.
Yeah, like things that we've learned since being together. Like we've also like when we first started dating, like we were like, oh, let's like add each other on this and this and that and see if we had any mutuals, and we did have mutuals. So it was like fate was like,
yeah, it was like the universe
together.
was always like, I mean, that's how we feel anyway, that the universe was like always pushing us together, and like it was meant to be, and it was gonna happen no matter what. But I'm glad when we actually like dated and stuff, it was like more of the right time. For sure.
Like the timing was right, y'all.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the story of how we met. We gave you all the juicy details. We've been filming for like 50 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like we gave a lot of details.
I don't know how long this video will end up being when I edit it, but 50 minutes of chatting with you guys, that's a long time.
But you know, I'm okay if this video is a little long, because I feel like that's part of telling the entire story of like how we actually met, especially because this is from two very separate perspectives. Like we were living different days and like different lives, and like they just like collided, you know? A true meet cute.
So that's the story of how we met, all the juicy details. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to know anything else about our relationship, like, you know, more stories that we could tell or anything, if you want to know, you know, how we became girlfriends, if you want to know like our elopement story, anything like that, just let us know down below, and we could always film another video for you all. But thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more queer and travel content. And we'll see you soon with another video.
Thank you for watching. We love you.
Bye.